In this video, I want to discuss one of the main techniques I use to induce lucidity. Although, please note, it has two other uses than just lucid dream induction. It also helps with dream recall and healthy lucid living. But, just to let you know, as far as I'm aware, this is not an established technique. The only other person I've talked to that uses this is Nathaniel Solis, known on YouTube as Mahanomi. Anyway, the idea is simple. Before you go to bed, drink around 1 litre of water. This is a rough estimate that depends on body size, so your personalised intake might be different. What you're aiming for is drinking enough that your body will wake you in the night to wee, but not drinking so much that you feel uncomfortable or bloated as you're drifting off. Experiment with this and in time you'll find the perfect amount to drink. So, with the water consumed, go to sleep. For me, my body will then usually wake me up to wee at the end of my second REM cycle. So we're talking roughly 3 hours later. Although, of course, this varies on how long it takes me to drift off. Okay, so now I'm awake, I go to the toilet and empty my bladder. And upon returning to bed, I write down any interesting dreams I had. However, if you're really struggling with dream recall, you might want to do this the other way round. As in, once you wake up, stay in bed as you write your dreams down and then go to wee. As I'm sure you all know, movement can mess with dream recall, especially if you're not experienced. However, personally, I can afford to do it in either order as my recall's usually rock solid regardless. So, back in bed, I get comfortable, close my eyes again, and begin to repeat lucid dream affirmations in my mind, such as, I will now lucidly transition into the dream world. I will now lucidly transition into the dream world. Whatever you choose, make sure it's chanty, make sure it feels like a mantra. With any luck, I'll then wake induce, and if not, I'll be likely to dream induce later on. This technique works well for me for numerous reasons. Firstly, I'm already a couple of cycles into sleep, so I'll slip into REM quicker than when I first went to bed. Secondly, I feel body relief from a well-needed wee, so when I lie back down and close my eyes, I feel relaxed. Thirdly, my mind is focused as it's slipping back off due to regaining consciousness just a few minutes previously. This might be sounding familiar to some of you, so yes, let me say, this is a variation of the wake back to bed technique. However, there are 3 major differences. Firstly, with traditional wake back to bed, you usually wake yourself up at the end of your 4th REM cycle, not your 2nd. Secondly, with traditional wake back to bed, you usually stay up for at least half an hour before returning to sleep, not just a few minutes. Thirdly, with traditional wake back to bed, you set an alarm to wake you up instead of waking up naturally. As I said previously, I don't know if this will work for everyone, but for me, my variation is just as effective. Going just 2 REM cycles deep, for me, is enough to bring about a quickened return to the REM state. And staying up for a mere 5 minutes or so, for me, is enough to work up focus for re-entry. And waking up naturally is always preferable to being woken up by an alarm. And of course, you can repeat the water drinking process upon returning to bed, as in drink another litre of water. By doing this, you can wake yourself up prematurely again at the end of your 4th REM cycle and rinse and repeat. I don't usually do this though, as I think it's overkill. However, I definitely recommend having at least a few sips upon returning to bed, purely for rehydration purposes. Also, please note, this is not something I do every night, as it can lead to burnout. However, something I do every night is drink a nice amount of water before falling to sleep. This is a good practice to get into for the health benefits alone, and through trial and error you can work out what amount is enough to keep you well hydrated without waking you up. For me, it's about half a litre. Half a litre for hydration, a litre for wake up. Okay, so in summary, let's go over exactly what this technique is good for. Firstly, if you're struggling with dream recall, this is a great way to improve it. Your body should naturally wake you up to wee at the end of a REM cycle. And, of course, you're much more likely to have dream recall when waking directly from a dream. Secondly, it's a good general practice for maintaining health and clarity of mind. The influx of water before bed sets you up perfectly for the unavoidable water fasting you have to experience during sleep. Thirdly, it facilitates a lucid dream and doesn't mess so drastically with your sleep like the traditional wake back to bed technique. This is how it works for me, at least. As always, what works for me might not work for you. But please, try the technique and let me know how it goes. And leave a comment below telling everyone one of your favourite techniques to induce lucidity.